The Boston Red Sox hit the field looking to get back on top of the American League East. We're breaking down every pitch all season long on Ovi's Backstop Podcast, part of the CMG Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome to Ovi's Backstop Podcast. I'm Ovi Muniz. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can follow and like on Facebook. That's right. It's Ovi's Backstop Podcast presented by Clovercrest Media. You can also see the podcast and see all the updates about the Major League Baseball on hhwshow.com. And speaking about baseball, the Boston Red Sox are just looking very sad after, starting a rough second half of baseball. As I said in the last podcast, that the Red Sox were hot and ready, finishing off the first half in first place, and now they find themselves in second place behind the Tampa Bay Rays. But I like to focus more on this chart right here that I created. As you can see, Alex Cora just looking down sad, the picture provided by Boston Globe. The Boston Red Sox are 9-10 since starting the second half after the All-Star break. And you look at the New York Yankees, who as of now are hot, especially after the trade deadline, that they got Izzo and Gallo. And all of a sudden, things are sparking for the Yankees, but not so much for the Boston Red Sox. As you can see that the remaining of the American League East teams, the Yankees are 13-6, the Rays are 11-7, Toronto 9-7, and Baltimore, which is down under, are 10-8 so far. And as you look at the offense and team rankings, you will see that the Red Sox are just kicking butt left and right. You would think, but it's not so much. Yes, the Red Sox as a team or collectively are second in total hits, first in doubles, they're ninth in home runs, seventh in RBIs. They're getting better on not striking out. That's a good thing because they were on top for a little bit. But their batting average is fourth, which is a .257. That right there is like, you know what? The Red Sox are contenders, right? And their slugging percentage is awesome, is in third. But if you look at the pitching stats, and this is mostly blaming on the starting pitching, right? Their ERA is 4.20, 14th, right? And saves. Of course, the bullpen are doing the best they can, but they are overutilized, right? They gave up the most hits. They're ranked 28th. They walk. Yeah, it's all right. They sure know how to strike out people, but when it comes to whip and the opposing batting average, it is not so well, right? And that has been the biggest problem ever since we started this podcast, since we started the season. You're looking at these stats, you're looking at the history of these pitchers. I don't know what to say more than we just need some new bodies, right? We need Chris Sale to come back. Could he make a big difference? That is hard to swallow because that's just one man, right? When you supposed to have a 5 or 6 man starting pitching roster. This is a very rough second half for the Boston Red Sox. How can they turn things around? You would have thought that they would turn things around against the Detroit Tigers, yet they ended up losing that series. And this is the explanation that Alex Cora had. He says, I can put it plain and simple for everybody. I don't think you guys have to ask many questions today. We didn't pitch. We didn't play good defense. We didn't hit, right? And that's overall talking about the series of the Tigers. And it eventually, when it comes to running and scoring position, the Boston Red Sox are struggling. It seems like there's just more individuals. And even though, they're celebrating home runs, got their wheel cart in the dugout and everything else, still, it's just things are not clicking. They don't have clutch hitters. the time when they need that hit, they just don't have the right person at the bat, right? And we're gonna get to that and everything else when it comes to what the Red Sox have done after the trade deadline. Look at the standings in the American League. The Tampa Bay Rays were not did not play yesterday. However, they are a game and a half in front of the Boston Red Sox. The Yankees, again, they won 8 of the last 10 games, as well as the Toronto Blue Jays. It's just what I've been saying before. These teams are hot. All right. I won't I won't sell too much of the Toronto Blue Jays. Yes, they have the talent, but they're not as strong as the New York Yankees at this moment. Okay. The Yankees are at another level. Mainly because maybe they're the teams that they have defeated. But once this crunch time, especially between now and next month, there's going to be a lot of battles within the division. And let's see who is the last team standing in first place, or quite frankly, in the wild card. As we see here, the Red Sox are ahead in the wild card, plus 2.5, and they're sharing it with the Oakland Athletics. But there you see it with the New York Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays. They're squeaking in, and don't dismiss the Seattle Mariners because they played very well against the Tampa Bay Rays. Here's the lookout for the Boston Red Sox in the month of August. Again, they just completed the Tigers series, but they're getting set for a 4-game series with the Toronto Blue Jays for the first time in Toronto. Okay, that game will start at 7 o'clock, and then they have a doubleheader Saturday and close it out at 1 o'clock, 1:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. As you can see at the Red Sox, they're 2-9 in the last 11 games, and they've lost 3 straight series. Something that was not even discussed in the first half of baseball, but we have it here. Can they turn around? Of course. Of course. But the thing is, how can they turn things around? You look at the remaining schedule after the Blue Jays, we have the Tampa Bay Rays visiting the Red Sox and then the hot Orioles. So I'm not going to dismiss them because they're in last place. They're doing very good. And of course, middle of the month, we have the 3-game series with the New York Yankees, and we are very hopeful to see if Chris Sale will return during that series. Here's the trades that the Boston Red Sox have done, with Shane Bloom being the head guy of this organization. Uh, Hansel Robles from the Angels. Pitch count has been a concern. All right. Especially against the Tigers. He had 31 pitches yesterday. Gave up 3 earned runs, 5 hits in 1 inning. And as you can see, even though previously the games with the Tigers and Tampa Bay, he did all right, right? But his ERA is still 4.70. That is still pretty high for a guy that's in the bullpen. We'll also look at Austin Davis there. Uh, Again, gave up 2 runs in a 1 2/3 innings pitched yesterday. You can see here, he only pitched 1 inning the day prior against Detroit. His ERA is 4.76. Could that help? Right? And it's not talking about Kyle Schwarber, or it's Schwarber is still on the injured list. You trade for him, but what are we getting? This is something that we need now, not later. Okay, can he be a difference maker? And by the time he comes back, would it be just in time, or would it be too late for him to do anything to help the Red Sox bats? We'll continue on evaluating these players. The first game of the Detroit Tigers, Duran was the leadoff hitter, and he went 2 for 5 on that game, but his average rose to a 178. Marwin Gonzalez is still batting a 202. He went 0 for 4. And Cordero went 1 for 3. He's batting a 200. As you see, he was being pinch hit with Dahlbeck. Dahlbeck still hitting a low of 214. Garrett Richards pitched that game in a loss because the Red Sox did lose 4-2, but he only pitched 4 innings. That is the problem. Our starting pitcher can't last past 5 innings. So how can you become a World Series champion if you can't even pitch midway through the game? Well, moving on to game 2, right? Erod finally got it going, right? But that is the consistency of Erod. He pitches good one game, the next game, he can't even pass 3 innings. So he's going back and forth. How can he stay consistent? He improved his record to 8-6 when the Red Sox defeated the Tigers 4-1. He struck out 10 batters and he walked 4. And you see his pitch count at 99 in just 5 innings. We look at the offense. Cordero went 0 for 2. He was pinch hit by Dahlbeck. He dropped his average to 196. You see Duran batting second. He went 1 for 5, but he struck out twice. Dude, you're second at bat. So you got to do more than when you're at that number 2. And of course, Alex Cora does not want to break up Bogarts, Devers, and Martinez and that 3, 4, and 5 row in that lineup. And then in game 3, it was a day game, but Martin Perez, 7-8 in his record. He only pitched 1 1/3. I can't say anything more. You got Robles and Davis there, who also struggled. And again, you make these trades, you would think that it'll benefit for the Red Sox, but in the long run, it's not so much. It's all right to try to, I guess, avoid the luxury tax, but are you avoiding to pay money, or you're going to be focused on winning championships? What is the priority for the Red Sox organization? And more of this on the Boston Globe. And this is from the Red Sox hitting coach, Tim Hires. And he says, we have good players also. They'll obviously be up for the challenge. We respect what the Blue Jays have, but just keep doing the same thing as far as preparing and trying to zone in on our game planning and pitch selection, trying to grind out at bats and keep the line moving and not chase results. That is the reflection of them preparing themselves to go against the Blue Jays this weekend. Look, you could say all that you want to say about that, right? But this is the all season long. Okay, there's no difference. Okay, the thing is that when you do select players to come up to the farm system and everything else, what are you doing? What exactly are you preparing them for? Right? We started by watching them swing and miss on everything. Yes, the Red Sox improved in and strikeouts per game, but getting in runners in scoring position, driving in those runs, those has been a flaw for the Red Sox. But hey, let's keep it moving. We have the probable pitchers here. We got Evaldi on the mound for Friday against Manoah. Evaldi is 9-6 with an ERA 3.71. He is the best pitcher that the Red Sox have right now. He has a total of 120 strikeouts, 22 walks he's given up. He's also given up 7 home runs. All right. Manoah, he's been pitched well. Look at his ERA at 2.47. The Toronto Blue Jays been comfortable being back home. So that is even more dangerous for them. All right. And game 2, Nick Pivetta will face Robbie Ray. And game 3, Tanner Houck will get to start against Jose Berrios. And then on Sunday, Garrett Richards gets back on the mound versus Ryu. And Ryu's been he's been terrific, man. 11-5 with ERA 3.22. He's improving in every game. He is a major factor, and I wouldn't be surprised if he shuts down the Red Sox the way he's been pitching. The Red Sox should be hopeful to see if they get those bats swinging, because again, the Red Sox are on the road and they do very well on the road. Let's see if they could close out this road trip before they head back to Fenway Park. Other news in the Red Sox acquired outfielder Delino DeShields Jr. from the Texas Rangers, and he is sent to Worcester on assignment. He has played for the AAA this season for Round Rock, hitting a 263. Overall, he's hitting a 246 average in his Major League Baseball career. So I got to say, why are we getting this guy in the Red Sox when he's only batting a 246? Something ain't right, man. I'm just saying, something ain't right. And I know I'm being negative about everything about the Red Sox, but dude, if we got to do something better, honestly. I don't understand. But yet, hey, we couldn't get Izzo, right? A guy that the Red Sox drafted, and then it got outbidded for the Yankees, I guess. So it's not cool. But hey, we'll continue on. Hot and fired. That's right. These guys, Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and George Springer. I had a privilege to see each and one of them perform. Bichette and Guerrero when they're in Double-A in New Hampshire, going against the Hartford Yard Goats here in the state of Connecticut. These guys are very talented, and they've shown that they belong in Major League Baseball, following their father's footsteps. As far as George Springer, another Connecticut resident who was from New Britain, Connecticut, I seen him there visiting Houston in the outfield wearing the high school New Britain Hurricanes jersey and hat. And dude, he has been phenomenal returning back from the injured list. He's on fire too. So, dude, the Red Sox got an answer this weekend against those three. Wow, that's pretty awesome there. But we're closing it out real quick. It is the Backstop Podcast presented by Clovercrest Media. My website is hhwshow.com. You can also listen in to Apple, Google, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to your audio favorite podcast platform. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is the Ovi's Backstop Podcast. Again, every series giving you the updates. We got to turn things around. I want to say something positive going on in this, right? Because listen, nobody ever predicted that the Boston Red Sox will be in the position they're in right now, right? So if we're here, let's prove everybody wrong. I still got faith. I'm upset. I know the Red Sox fans are upset, but we got to have faith. And if Alex Cora says he trusts his players, then I got to trust him, right? Because, hey, he is a World Series champion in 2018. Yeah, and granted, I understand that he got suspended for 1 year, but he's back and he's changed things around. But does he have the right people to do the job? We got another month and a half of baseball left. Let's see if the Red Sox do turn it around and regain back first place in the American League East. Thank you for watching. Take care, everyone. God bless. Enjoy your weekend. And I'll be back at the final after the Toronto Blue Jays series. Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much for listening to Ovi's Backstop Podcast, part of the CMG Sports Podcast Network. For more, visit hhwshow.com.